everyone, and welcome back. Can you believe it's already time for us to start seed starting? I cannot believe it. Now we're going to be juggling, making sure that all of our flowers are doing well, making our bouquets, and now making sure that our seedlings are going to be ready to plant out in the fall. And hey, if you're new here, my name is Christy. I'm located in Western Massachusetts, Zone 6A, and my average first frost date is going to be mid-October, around October 12th to October 15th. So believe it or not, even though it's going to be the middle of July, we need to start seed starting so we can fall plant our spring crops. So today I am starting 2 different crops. I'm going to be continuing this for the next few weeks. And that is going to be Campanula and Rudbeckia. I have a few different varieties I'm going to be starting. This past winter, I started my Campanula, and needless to say, even though they were short, they worked really well with my mason jars. I am going to try and fall plant them instead of planting them out early spring. So I have a game plan that I'm hoping is going to work. We are going to start our Campanula now. I have 3 different varieties. We are going to plant them out hopefully sometime in September, whether it's going to be the beginning or mid-September. And then I am going to also hopefully start some in the winter to plant out in the spring, to see if I can get maybe some different successions. Now, I have never planted these in the fall to see if they overwinter well. However, I have heard and seen others talk about their Campanula, and they're in the same zone with the same super cold, snowy winters, and theirs did pretty well out in the field. So I'm going to try. This past winter, I mean, it was crazy cold. We were getting to like -18, -20 with the wind gusts. It was insane. I don't remember that for like the longest amount of time being that cold. Usually we don't even get too much snow. We'll get like a big heat maybe come like February or March, and then that's about it, and then it starts to warm up. So hopefully it won't be that bad this winter, because I'm hoping to start a lot of my spring crops now to plant out in the fall. Now, in doing so, I do have some hoops and like little low tunnels that I will be putting over them with some frost cloth until it starts to snow. That is where we kind of got to see if I'm going to keep them alive well enough or not, because sometimes I forget, like with snapdragons, to get out there. I work full time, so to get out every day to put it on, take it off, it's a big chore. So we're going to see how this goes. And also, I'm going to have to plant them out in my raised garden beds, because I am going to be getting a lot of work done, and where I planted all of my cool hardy annuals this past year, that is going to be getting run over continuously with some big heavy equipment to get the trees down, so I can't plant in my normal spot like I did this past year. So we're going to hopefully get them out in time. I'm hoping to plant them out where my Lysianthus currently are. Those are in 3 of my raised garden beds, and because I have such a short growing season, I don't think they're going to have time to put on another flush. So my hopes is to put them over there, or maybe where my basil is. It just all depends on how things are going. But let's get into the variety. So I do have 1 type of Rudbeckia. However, I do have them from 2 different sources. So I still have from Select Seeds. This is going to be the Sahara variety. I absolutely love it, and they last so long in the vase. I even forgot one in the basement. It's been in the same jar of water for about a week and a half now, and it still looks fantastic. So I'm going to do that. And then I also purchased some from the Gardener's Workshop as well. So I have anywhere from like 50 to maybe 75 seeds. And I'm also planting everything in my 128 cell trays, because with the Campanula, I have 300 of them. I'm going to have extra trays, so the Rudbeckia will be sown last into the other ones, and then I can always pot them up when I need to. So for the Campanula, I purchased mine from Johnny's. I did this last year. I got a very nice light pink and a white, which I absolutely loved. And then I got a darker pink. I think it was called like Rose. Was not a fan whatsoever. I feel like it browns on the petals very easily, especially because I do overhead irrigation. So I did not care for them, and they were very short. I mean, mine were probably anywhere from 2 to 3 feet tall, and that is with planting them out in the spring. Again, they were good for mason jars, and I was able to use some of the stems for some larger works in a larger vase and some wrapped bouquets as well. So I decided I'm still going to get the Champion 2 pink and the white, except this time I'm going to try lavender, because I noticed that all of my flowers were white or pink, and I need a splash of something else. So I thought lavender would be really nice to mix in. So I'm going to try and get some more purple varieties of either snapdragons or anything that is a nice cool hardy annual. So not everything is pink and white. And I'm going to try and get less of yellow because yellow was a little bit hard for me to work with. And somehow when I got the mixed snapdragon varieties, I had so much yellow, and it's like highlighter yellow, and I'm just really not the biggest fan. So we're going to try and add some more purples this year. As I mentioned, I have everything in 128 cell count trays. Everything is pre-moistened. I am using ProMix potting soil again, and it's so hard for me to get. Nowhere local has them, so I had to ship it in, which was such a bummer because last year from Walmart, they had huge pallets of the ProMix potting soil, and they marked it down. I think it was like 60% off or maybe even more, and I bought 15 bales of them, and that lasted me pretty much for my whole seed starting setup in this winter and spring, and there's none, so I'm gonna have to pay full price. So let me know in the comments where you buy in bulk. I know like the Greenhouse Megastore has it, but the shipping is absolutely insane. So I need to find other places to buy the ProMix. I could get it into my Tractor Supply, but I don't know. Let me know in the comments where you buy your seed starting mix in bulk. So with the Johnnies, we are going to be doing Campanula first, and everything today needs to be surface sown, which is great. I do have my handy dandy mister that we will be doing. We are reusing plant tags because I forgot to order some. And I do plan on putting vermiculite on top, except I forgot to get that, so I need to make sure I grab that. I just remember. I'm very, I feel like not ready to seed start, but the show must go on. So with Campanula, you need to seed start them 6 to 8 weeks out, and then usually the rule of thumb is to plant out your cool hardy annuals anywhere from like, what is it, 6 to 8 weeks, I think? Don't quote me, I'll put it on the bottom of the screen if I'm wrong, but I think it was like 6 to 8 weeks, and last year I did it mid-August, and things were like starting to bloom and bud, and I did not want to do that. So I'm going to delay, and hopefully we can get them out come mid to early September. And since I have frost cloth now in the hoops, I feel a little bit more confident planting them out earlier and covering them if I need to. Last year, I think it was October 12th, we got our first frost, and I just put frost cloth on, and I saved my dahlias for another like week or two, which was really nice. So 6 to 8 weeks before you're planting out. So that's my hopes. They're going to need light to germinate. So again, we're going to surface sow these and then add some fine vermiculite on top. We will water them in with my mister. They are going to go on a heat mat set at around 65, 68 degrees or so with a humidity dome on top. And then I like to water them every morning and every night, especially because these are pelleted seeds. We want to make sure that we can break down that coating. And then once those are broken down, which is usually in a few days, if not like right away, just depends, I guess. I'll stick to just doing it maybe once in the morning. And since my seed starting setup is in the basement now, I will have more time and opportunity to do it since before it was in my master bedroom. But I'll also link below my seed starting for Campanula this spring if you want to check that out as well. Okay, so I'm going to read this tip from the bottom, and it says, after germination, reduce the lighting to about 10 hours per day. 11 hours or more can cause premature flowering, and the ideal temperature is about 50 to 55 degrees for the plugs. So I'm hoping that we will be able to do that since we are going to be having them in the basement. So, and then it also says that they take sun to part shade. So we will see. I'm very excited to get these started. And then Rudbeckia, again, is going to be surface sown. They will also be at about 65 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit. And it seems that both things time up to need about 7 to 10 days in order to germinate. So I will keep you posted on that. I'm trying to do really good with seed starting and writing everything down, and then also writing what I am harvesting every weekend. So let's turn the camera so you can see a little bit better. We're going to start with our Campanula, and then whatever we have left over, we will use for our Sahara Rudbeckia. So let's get to it. Okay, so I hope you can see everything. I will get up nice and close afterwards. But the lighting is always really bad, and it's way too hot right now for me to not be underneath this umbrella. So we are going to start with our lavender. And again, these are going to be pelleted seeds, which I was not a fan of, especially with like Lysianthus. I don't know, just like trying to get them to break down just drove me nuts. And I didn't want to like overwater them. So I do beforehand give everything like a really good press because I just don't want my seeds to get lost, especially because I am going to be missing everything until I see some germination. And even then, once I see them sprout, I will take my humidity dome off, and I will still mist them until I feel like they're strong and big enough where I will start bottom watering. I like these trays because they're nice and shallow, and they don't require so much water. All right, so let's get to it. They are super duper uber small, and with this wind, I hope they stay. So I am going to just set one on each. Usually I like to overseed. With this, I will not. And then as I'm putting them down, I'm going to let go, and then I'm going to make sure it just has really good contact with the soil. And then if I drop two like I just did, I'm going to try and place it in another one with hopes that I don't crush it. There we go. And then I'm just going to keep on doing this. And then go back, drop to two. Usually, like I said, I like to overseed, but with these, I like to just have one if I can. So with the Rudbeckia, they're so small, I'm just going to tap them out of the little envelopes that they come in. But I'm very excited to give these a try, because if I can have a little bit less to start in the winter time, and then juggling all of them, and that would be great. Again, I'm just going back, and then we'll just speed things up so you're not watching me all day. If you're starting Campanula, please let me know what zone you're in, when you planted them out, when your average first frost date is, so I can kind of just gauge if I am doing it maybe too early, too late. I know a lot of people like to get plugs, but I just don't have it in my budget. And you know what? If I can start these from seed, and I know I did this past season, it'll save me a little bit of money. Oh, look, see, I just buried one, so hopefully that will come back up. All right, I'm going to continue, and then I'll show you what it looks like up close in about a minute. Okay, so let's get it nice and close for you so we can get these started. So we're just going to continue with the pink. And unfortunately, I cannot find my vermiculite anywhere, so we're going to have to order some. But here again are the seeds. They are pelleted, super small, and our goal is to try and get one in per cell. And again, they're going to need light to germinate. So I also have to figure out my heat map because we switched some of the lights up. Bad job making sure I only get one per cell. So we're gonna try and do a little bit better job here. Okay, so even though I had 300 seeds and 3 of these 120 cell count trays, we only have 3 rows left for the Sahara Rudbeckia, which is totally fine. So I'm probably just going to overseed it a little bit, and then I will just transplant these into some bigger, like 3-inch pots maybe or so. We'll see. But one reason why I love ordering seeds, because usually you'll get more than you paid for. So I had 100 of each, so hopefully we'll do good, and we'll have, you know, I will even take, you know, at this point in my journey of seed starting and trying to test myself and try new things. I mean, I'll even take sometimes like a 50% germination rate, but I know I had a really, really hard time with the Sahara Rudbeckia. So I used the select seeds last time. I'm going to start with my Gardener's Workshop one. Oh, and look at that. A bunch of the seeds are actually at the lip right here. And then if I have any left over space when it comes time to starting any of the other seeds, like I have a ton of Sweet Williams or Dianthus we are going to be starting hopefully next weekend. Stay tuned for that. And I'm going to hopefully get those going. But I have my first vendor event where there's going to be 40 different vendors. There's going to be food trucks. It's at an apple orchard 2 minutes down the road from me. So I'm super excited to get that going and try and sell all that I can. But yeah, so let's see. I think probably, even though there's only 3 rows, with the way that I oversee things, I probably will end up using the other one. So these are the Gardener's Workshop. I had great germination results from all of my celosia. Zinnias did phenomenal. So that was my first time ever buying from there. So I buy from there or Johnny's. And fun fact, if you ever buy seeds from her, download the app because you get free shipping compared to if you buy them like through a web browser or on your laptop or desktop. So there's a little tidbit for you. But I love her stuff. So let's see. We're going to shimmy these down. And like I said with these, I will tap them out. So instead of picking them, you can use a toothpick if you want and wet it. I just make a crease and then I'm just going to tap. That is why sometimes I get in trouble with overseeding because I tap a little bit too hard, but oh well. So these are going to need to be surface sown as well. And we will do our best to hopefully get 1 or 2 seeds per cell. I will aim for 2. Oh, but that one had 4. We get 2. And then we're going to mix these in as well. But I just absolutely love these. And yep, so that had 3, 1, 2, 2. So yeah, we're actually going to need the other ones from Select Seeds. But these will grow pretty quickly once you pot them up too. Oh, look at that. I actually might make it. Perfect. Oh, I can hear a chipmunk. We have chipmunks and voles all over here. So they make it fun. Oh, there's some hidden in the corner. So I'm just going to put those extra ones. Oh, there's one left. There we go. All right, we used the whole entire thing on those 3 rows. So again, we are going to take our mister. I have this in my Amazon storefront, or I can also link it below for you. Absolutely love it. Someone suggested that I purchase one, and it was such a game changer compared to my little, like, one that I had a hand pump. So we're just going to make sure, because of the coating on the Campanula, I get it a little bit more wet than I normally would. And then what I normally would do is get everything wet like this so it has really good contact with the soil. Then I would sprinkle my fine vermiculite and then reapply the water with the mister and then get the dome on. But with us changing everything down to the basement, I cannot find my vermiculite anywhere, but I like to use it especially because if these are going to be sitting in these trays for 6 to 8 weeks, it really helps with them in the moisture control. Even though with Lisianthus I did it, I still got a little bit of algae, but it doesn't really hurt anything, especially once they start growing. So that is going to be it. I'm going to get them on the heat mat again around 65 to 68 degrees. It's going to take anywhere from, I think it was like 7 to 10 or maybe 14 days to germinate. They do need light to germinate, so I will put that on, and I usually just do it for probably around 5 a.m. and then I turn it off so it gets about 14 to 16 hours. But then remember, with the Campanula, you want to limit it to about 10 hours since it's sensitive to the light and the day length. So I will set up my timer for that, and then hopefully the kids won't turn it off, because I had that issue earlier this year when I had my cool flowers downstairs. They would unplug it or push the buttons and turn it off. So that is going to be really important for me to remember. So if you would like to stay updated and see how the Campanula and the Rudbeckia are doing, make sure you hit like and subscribe and hit that bell button, because next week we are going to be seed starting some dianthus. Pretty soon we are going to be direct sowing a lot of our cool hardy annuals as well. And then throughout the year, we're going to make sure that we keep them living between all of the snow, freezing rain, and cold. So definitely stay tuned for that. And until next time, happy gardening. Bye.